AJ want everything. I'll be the one to take the risk to go and get them bands. I'll be the one to never sit and go and make a plan. Knowing my mother getting older now, don't got no time. Gotta keep a couple for the road, the rest get left behind. Yeah. To the hundreds, pledge allegiance, I stand. I'm gon' pull four in the fucking white sand.
You don't know none of the words, dude. If it's being done before, then I know. Hey, I'm on the run of the people live with.
Yo, what's the deal, y'all? Hope all is well. I'm Duke.
I'm Omar. I'm Jalon, and this is another episode of the #1 podcast in all of Los Angeles. Nice and neat. As you can see, you got us again, right? Another week with just the fellas. We're kind of doing something interesting today. We're doing a little bit of shop talk. We were off camera, and we just decided to turn the cameras on. We kind of just chilling, and I asked the question, right? Interesting question for the fellas. I'm gonna ask them again for you guys while you guys are here listening and watching. I said, do you think you can unlearn lustful habits, or do you just suppress them?
That's a good question, though. That is a good question. And I think that most people, most people will say that you can't unlearn them. And I feel like the reason the people say that, and that's exactly why they be like, man, guys gonna be guys. Mm-hmm. That's how you get that. That's how you get that dynamic.
Kind of serves as a built-in excuse.
Yes. It's like we can't do nothing about it.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And it's just like, you always hear guys talk about, you know, it's natural. It's in our nature to want all these women, to lust after all these women. In fact, we're supposed to have a lot of women, right? That's what makes us a man. And it's just like, it's always interesting because it's like, why do you think that you can't unlearn these behaviors? And so I kind of liken it to food, bro, because food and sex,
man,
right? Between food and sex, bro, those are the two biggest vices.
Yep.
And so I kind of liken it to food, and I say, well, you're supposed to, you know, you're supposed to, it's in your nature to want, you know, to want to eat for comfort. It's in your nature to want to eat, you know, what's sweet. It's in your nature. Okay. But if you want to continue being overweight, then keep doing it. Mm-hmm. Right. But just because it's in your nature, or you think it's in your nature, don't mean you're supposed to be doing it, or it's good. It's in your benefit. And so the same way you could discipline yourself with food, all right, because you will get to a point, right, that it's just like, oh, actually, I mean, you've talked about this. It's like some food just turned me off now. Mm-hmm. Some foods that I used to love turn me off now. So the habit that I used to have of, you know, going to that food for comfort or for, you know, fuel, I don't have it anymore because I know better now. It's the same thing with lust. It's the same exact thing. Mm-hmm. And if guys would just adapt that mindset and stop trying to think that, you know, it's just nature, then guys will be better. But see, guys don't really want to. They really don't want to be better in that department.
It's really up to like guys like us to continue to set the example though too as well. Because like when you think about like what do guys look up to? What do they see? You know what I mean? And they see other men lusting over other women, right? So like whether you want to do it or not, you kind of just like adopt it. Like unless you're conscious, which a lot of kids aren't.
Nah, you're not conscious.
You're not conscious, right? So you're just adapting these these habits, you know what I mean, without even realizing it. So that's what makes it harder too. Mm-hmm. Social media is playing a huge influence on, you know, what young adolescent minds are conforming to. So like that's like a factor that we cannot ignore, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can unlearn lustful habits.
Okay.
Right? Mm-hmm. I think you can put yourself in a space to do your best against your lustful thoughts, but they're going to exist.
Yep.
Okay. Especially if you participated in lust.
Yep. Okay.
Right? So like a lustful habit, I'm not staring women down anymore. Okay. I'm not communicating to women trying to envision them undressed. Mm-hmm. I'm not approaching women with the hopes of sex on my mind. Mm-hmm. Like all of those are just like habits that you probably
you developed,
right? That you developed, right? I do think you can eliminate that. But as far as somebody who was participating in lust, right? If you were somebody who was doing all of those things constantly and achieving success from that. I don't think the thought of it is going to ever leave. Okay. And I think that's what you're going to be battling.
Okay. This is how I know that I'm really like an emotionally intelligent person, because I'm about to help you explain your point right now, right? Because I see what you're saying now. And so, you know, the concept I just had about food. And so what you're saying is you can't get rid of lust. That's what you're saying. You can get rid of lustful habits, but you can't get rid of lust. Just like you can't get rid of hunger.
Right.
That's what you're saying.
Right.
You can't get rid of hunger. Now you can figure out what you want to do with hunger.
Yes.
But you can't get rid of hunger. Hunger is always going to be there. That's what you're trying to say.
Yep.
And so you're saying that lust is always going to be present. It's just what changes is how you handle lust.
Booyah.
Yeah. More and especially, I mean, I think it's going to really, really be present if you're somebody who played in that space.
Okay.
Right? If you weren't really playing in that space, then that's not something that's going to really affect you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's not just like if you weren't somebody who grew up having bad meals and you never even knew how to eat good, eating good is I always, there was never a meal that I didn't have where I had a protein, where I didn't have a protein, a starch, and a vegetable. I knew that from a child, right? So just understanding now how much of that to eat is the space that I play in. I'm not fighting against the tide, right?
I got you.
So when I'm talking about this space of lust, it's people who are fighting against the tide of like, nah, I grew up thinking that it was normal to try to have sex with as many people as possible. Like I thought that was normal. And now, you know, I want to be with one woman, and now it's hard for me. Even though I like one woman's mind, but her body, I want more, right?
Yeah.
So like more so speaking to that person, and also the habits, right? I think we speak really, really well about these things, but also being able to implement action steps for people to even be able to understand like, hey, bruh, sleeping with a lot of women is not cool, dog, because it's going to harm you on the other side of that. Like it is.
At what point, okay, I was thinking about this. What point do you teach a guy that? So if you're a high school kid and you're a star athlete,
he's supposed to learn it before that.
That's going to be a lot different than somebody who's not a star athlete, right? Because we already know like the.
Well, let's say he's not a star athlete. That's a special occasion. But let's say he's just a high school kid who's attractive and girls like.
You're supposed to learn all of these things before that. And when I say supposed to,
and so that's the time to experience those things.
Like, and we go through this with my son. Like you have sex is a constant conversation. Okay. It's not, hey yo, when he turns 16, I'm gonna whip out the condom, show it how to put on a banana. No.
Right.
You need to be teaching your child about their body and what their body is capable of doing every step of the way.
Okay.
Like I actually think it's wild when I think about it, when parents don't know, like parents always know when their daughter gets her period, but parents don't know when their son begins to ejaculate. Why?
Well, because they choose not to know.
Exactly.
They choose not to know. That's all that is, bro.
So when your son is ejaculating at 12, and you have the conversation with him about sex at 16, you're years off.
Yeah, and he's already now went on to develop his own perspective of what sex is.
Why is that?
Why doesn't that conversation happen?
Now, why is that conversation? I never thought about that.
It's just a hard conversation. It's an uncomfortable conversation
because
to
people
have.
wait for it to be one conversation. When I'm at home, and you guys let me know if there's too much information, but like when I'm at home and I go pee, my son comes in the bathroom every time. He says, "Daddy's pee pee?" I say, "Yes." You have your own. I have my own. That's yours. This is mine. Right? That's at 1. So now imagine when he's 5, the conversation we're gonna have. 10, the conversation we're gonna have. 15, 20. 25. I think your parents should always be talking to you about like what your body does, bro.
To that point, I'll be saying, Ocean, yo, this is your private, and mine's is different from yours. I'd be telling her that right now. You know what I mean? So
that conversation should always. It's a never ending conversation, bro. Like my mom asked me when I was 28 if I was having sex.
What are you doing?
Come on, Mom.
Come on,
Mom. And then said how many? I said, okay, you asked too many questions now.
What you doing?
So I'm 28, so this isn't your conversation anymore.
Yeah,
it's
too late. It's too late.
It's not yours.
It's too late, Mom.
You know, I don't think my mom ever had a conversation about sex with me.
Neither did mine.
Your mom never talked to you about sex?
And my dad is as great, as much wisdom as my dad has left and put inside of me, Bro, there's one conversation he
Why?
chose to leave out. He didn't have the conversation with me until I came home from my freshman year in college.
I think so too. I think my dad tried to have a conversation and I'm like, bro, what you talking about right now?
talking about, dog.
What are you talking about? You late to the party.
Yeah.
And so I think that's more so when we have these conversations about lust and we have these conversations about sex, I think the importance is your child knowing exactly what they are capable of and what their bodies are capable of or at every step of the way. Like it's very important, bro. Like a little boy, I've never been a little girl. So a little boy is going to be curious about his body from a young age. As a man, you've been a little boy before. Initiate those conversations.
Yep.
Like, bro, like you in those conversations, you shouldn't wait until he got the crusty socks behind his bed when he's 13. You shouldn't.
What is it? Why are there 6 socks behind
right.
behind the bed?
Why socks though?
Bro, you pull up. The conversation around sex has become uncomfortable because just like any conversation, right? Yeah. Any conversation that you wait to have, it gets harder and harder.
Yeah.
Right?
You're only waiting because it's uncomfortable. Mm-hmm.
But if you just constantly are I'm actually trying to beat my son to conversations. So, cause I want to be updating him about his body. Mm-hmm. Hey, yo, like and I do feel like women are treated better in that space in learning about their bodies. Like, hey, when you turn this age, this is what's going to happen, and
I feel like for some reason this is what I experienced with my mom and my sister. It just seemed like mothers have a much easier time and feel much more comfortable talking to their daughters about sex, menstrual cycle, just their organs, all of that. Because I watched my mom have these conversations, or not. I wasn't listening in, but I know that that's what they were talking. They was happening. You know what I mean? And I was like, no, my dad and I aren't having these. So I don't know if that's something different between.
Hold on. Do you feel like any of it has to do with like homophobia?
No, I feel like I
feel like there's a reluctancy to dive into that, right? Because you kind of feel like, okay, I don't really want my son to be thinking about these things so early because of the risk of what if he gets too curious about these things? And I think there's a fear of that because why wouldn't we have these conversations with our parents early on? Why wouldn't they have the conversations with us, especially if they experience these things, right? So I think there has to be something that's going on where they feel uncomfortable because we're their kids. They shouldn't feel uncomfortable with us.
A logical, naive response could be too is like, maybe they don't think we're doing it yet.
Nah.
Because why else would you have the conversation?
I definitely think that they don't think you're doing it.
See, you know what I mean? Like that's the only that's like it's naive, but like it's logical.
Bro, a lot of parents have a hard time believing that their child has their adult mind.
Yeah.
Essentially by the time they're 12 years old.
Okay.
12 years old, bro.
Okay.
You are essentially you now who you are at 12 is the trajectory that you're gonna build up to be as an adult, bro.
Yep.
So understanding that this is not my baby. Right?
Okay.
And that's kind of how they look at it. It's like, it's a baby. I don't need to give them this. I don't need to tell them this. But it's like, yo, no, you need it's education. Mm-hmm. And I feel like black people, we have this stigma. We don't talk about it because sex is taboo. We do not talk about sex like that, right? And people think that we're just talking about sex. And then not talking about sex, we don't even talk about their body parts. We don't educate them on their body parts and what they can do and what they can't do and any of those things. Mm-hmm. The first time we actually do get introduced to talking about sex is about just like everything else. It's almost like a fear mongering thing, right? Hey, you can get STDs. 9th grade, you get the sex ed class that show you the video of STDs and people having babies. I still didn't have any education. Bro, when I was a freshman in college, I still thought that if you had unprotected sex, she will get pregnant. I still thought that just by having unprotected sex. No ejaculation, nothing. I just thought that because that's how little of information that I got. I feel like the conversation of sex has to be extremely stressed, because I feel like, again, to the point of our households, we feel like the more information they get, the more they'll participate in it. And that's not the truth. Mm-hmm. So me personally, I'm going to do my best to make sure that my son understands his body. Now, sitting there having actual conversations about sex, I don't think actual conversations about sex is important when you're talking about their body, what their bodies can do, when two bodies come together, what can happen from that. But you guys, I think they started thinking about like actual, do I want to talk to him about sex? Do I want to talk to him about the intimacy? You don't have to bring up none of that.
None of that.
You don't have to bring up none of that, bro. That's not even a part of the conversation. It's about what your body does and what it's capable of doing. I didn't know that about my body.
Okay.
I didn't know what my body was capable of doing. I didn't even understand the way that a woman's menstrual cycle worked. So like, these things are extremely important. And I think a lot of lack of knowledge actually does go into the space of curiosity, which then generates the lustful aspects and things like that.
I think people treat kids, man, like you shouldn't be worried about this right now. I remember being in the 5th grade, bro, and I was just curious. And I had asked my classmate, she was a girl, I said, yo, like where do girls pee from? I asked her that. And because I was just curious, right? It wasn't like nothing malicious. I said, where do girls pee from? Because at that point, I didn't really know. And then 20 minutes later, they came and got me in the principal's office. They said, you got to come.
Harassing? Sexual harassing?
You got to come to the principal's office, suspended me. It wasn't for harassment. It was just for being inappropriate. Suspended me.
Because you asked?
Because I asked a question.
You're just curious.
Yeah, but they suspended me. And I was just like, damn. So that taught me like, okay, this is something that no one wants to talk about.
See?
Because I'm a
So
child.
let not talk about it.
See what that did?
I'm a child and she's a child. So it's just not like, I'm just asking her, hey, yo, like, where do y'all pee from?
It's crazy that they cripple a kid for curiosity.
I mean,
like that don't make no sense.
This is the thing that's unfortunate. He shouldn't have been curious outside of his house. Because if somebody asked your daughter that and she came home and she was like, Jimmy asked me, where do I pee from, Daddy? You're going to feel some type of way. He should have had the ability to be curious at home. He didn't feel safety. So he like, I'm not asking that at home. Like,
nah. You don't have to talk about that stuff with your parents. You don't have the guts to talk about that with your parents.
Yeah.
So you try to look for outside sources.
Yeah.
But so you're right about that.
Hey, can I ask you a question though?
Yeah.
What didn't make you feel comfortable asking your older brother?
My older brother's only a year older than me.
So as a kid,
so
when we young,
so
that's not a big thing. That's a year is not a lot.
Nah, I feel like we was having the same experiences. I just seen brown girls.
He don't know.
Hey,
he don't know.
What you talking about? Like, we was in the same boat.
I could tell you why I wouldn't go to my brother.
Why?
He was an extension of my parents. That's how we all raised the same, right? So it's like, okay, well, if I can't ask Daddy that,
I definitely can't ask him
I can't
that.
ask him that, because Daddy taught him how to think. So it's
And then
like,
also, you look at your brother. At least for me, my brother was just my older brother, but he wasn't authority. You know what I mean? He wasn't a source of information when we were kids. We just did everything together.
Yep.
So my mindset wasn't even like he knows more than me. It was just that we share the same experience. He just gets it first.
Yep.
So I wouldn't even think to ask him.
yeah, no, I think we have to do a better job of having uncomfortable conversations with our children, with the next generation, you know, and just like not only having uncomfortable conversations when it's controlled by us, but allowing the space for the questions to like flow and be there. Because let me see, if she's not doing it, she's right there. Where have you seen disappointment on your daughter's face yet?
No.
Okay. You're going to start seeing it, and it's going to start showing you, okay, I need to approach this a little bit differently.
Yep.
Right? I could say something to my son, and I could see his shoulders slump, and I could see him start beginning to get small. And I'm like, yo, even if he was wrong, I still need to correct it, because I don't want him to be like, this is not a space I can talk to my dad in.
Yep.
I don't want that. Do I want to be my son's friend? I don't want that. But I still want to be the source. Like I tell you, bro, I remember I used to think, I said, man, I hope I don't never do nothing stupid enough to go to jail because I'll never call my dad. I'll let him think I ran away from home before I told my dad I was in jail. Because the space,
The disappointment.
it wasn't safe enough
can't
for me
explain
to
that.
be like, I can't explain that
can't
to
explain
him.
that, yeah.
Right? And I just don't want to be that father for my son.
Man.
I want him to be like, dang, my dad gonna be mad, but I'm not calling nobody else. I want him to feel like that. I don't want him to feel like, oh yeah, nah, I'm not calling my dad. They gonna have to think that I'm dead. I don't want him to feel like that. And I know people feel like that, bruh.
Yeah.
I was one of those kids. I was, bro.
I was one of those kids.
Bro,
You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
one of those kids, bro.
Oh, my God.
And I'm sad to say that, like, I don't think y'all have experienced this, but I have had a situation where I have been arrested, and like,
Didn't tell nobody. Didn't tell your dad.
my dad was the last. It was like that's the last. My good thing my dad don't watch it. My dad still don't know that. My dad still to this day does not know that I've been arrested.
You got your dad at barbecues telling people my son ain't never been arrested. None of my kids have been in jail.
Nope.
Hey, oh, barbecue like this.
Yep. Because I knew. I knew. I'm like, brother, disappointment. Like
Oh my God.
I can't handle it.
You would never hear that.
I can't handle it. I can't handle it. 36 years old, still ain't told his daddy.
Hey, but you know what's so crazy? I will say this. One thing that I do want my son to do, to still have for sure, is the same reverence that we all have for our fathers.
Yep.
Like, to this day, if I did something stupid, I'd still be afraid to tell my dad.
Yep.
My dad, I'm grown. My dad don't pay none of my bills. He don't take care of nothing for me. And I still would be like,
Yeah, but if you and your dad in the same place, he'd be like, Jalon, come here.
And you will come right over.
Like, hey, hold on, I'll be right
I'm
back.
shutting everything down.
I'll be right back, y'all.
Bro, I'm shutting everything down, dog.
Yeah.
But I think it's an interesting dance, right? So I think what we do, right, we take the tips from the older fathers and we still put our own sauce on it. Cause like I have one of my mentors, his son now is 20, and he laughs at the problems that I deal with because he's dealing with a whole nother set of problems now. You know, his son is in college, so he's doing the college thing, you know, having the college experiences, you know, but like the homie, something that our parents probably never did, his son have a bad experience, he hopping on a plane, bro, and he pull up on him. Hey, let's go have lunch. Talk to me. What happened? Okay. Do you think that was good? Yeah, you're wrong for that. And sitting down with them, but it's not like, hey, yo, you got to come home.
Nah, let's have a talk.
Let's talk.
You
You know, and I think the interesting thing is, and this is the hardest part, it's going to be hardest for both of us. His dad never did none of those things. He never experienced none of those things. So he's learning in real time, but also trying to parent.
Yep.
And I think we're going to experience a lot of that, especially with how fast things are going, with the way social media is going.
I think that's just parenting in general. You're gonna be learning while you're parenting. Like there's no manual for this.
Man,
You know what I mean?
I think it's just harder for y'all. Well, it's gonna be harder for me too, but I think there's just so much more influence though.
Yeah.
Today, and I'm talking about like at the earliest, like you could almost shield your child from like the outside world until they start getting into like elementary school and stuff like that.
Once they start getting around other kids.
Start getting up, but like now, it's like it's so hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hard, bro. And I just like so. I think it's scary.
Interesting time we in.
It is, bro. It is, man. But we have an ability to do something that, I mean, our parents can't do for us at this point in time in life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we literally have the ability to create the trajectory and the runway for who our children are going to be based off of how we show them, you know? And I think that openness, you know, while being stern, you know, that I'm not ruling that out. Openness while being stern and understanding what boundaries are. Like, I think it's very good to still know, like, I could mess up, but I can tell my dad.
Yeah.
I felt like I couldn't mess up, and if I did, I'm not telling my dad.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I felt. I didn't feel like messing up was an option. Did you feel like messing up was an option? Like, I'm learning? I never felt like I'm learning.
Oh, my dad would like encourage me to make mistakes.
Really?
Encourage me.
So it was you that didn't take the space.
Yeah. That was like make mistakes, man. That's how you gonna learn.
Hell no.
Hey,
Nah, I'm good.
Hell nah, man.
Good.
My dad, man, he put unrealistic expectations on me, man. That nigga wanted me to be perfect. I'll never remember my dad be giving me grace for like, oh yeah, it's all good. I just remember him just being stern 24/7. But he was generous though. But he was stern 24/7. He didn't play with nobody. He wanted his kids to excel.
That's why you don't play with nobody.
Hey, nah. I wish he was like that though. I wish he was like that. And I found out he was much more like that, you know, after he passed. But growing up, I was terrified.
yeah, I feel like, and it's crazy, man, because the way we were parented actually shows up a lot in our relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that showed up for me was critique. For me, was never a critique. A critique was always a reprimand. So it was always coming with something. It was never just like, hey, yo, you should try to do this way this time. It was like, yo, because you did this wrong, this is your punishment. Like every single time. It was never like anything else. So a lot of times I noticed that me and my wife, when we would speak, I would kind of tell her what I wanted her to feel. More so than actually like, hey, yo, this is everything that happened. Because I was like, if the critique come, I'm not giving you all the information to critique me the way that. And one day we were talking about it and we were unpacking it. And it was just like, hey, yo, you know what? I'm used to just getting reprimanded so much, like as a child. Like I'm not even giving you all the information to be able to like help me out like that. And it's not fair for you. So being able to sit down and like unpack, hey, yo, this is how I was parented. So this is why I communicate like this was extremely important. Right. Also in the same space though, like my parents never talked down on me either. So if I get talked down to, I don't respond really well to that. Like my parents, I didn't grow up in one of those families where I'm getting called out of my name.
Yeah, me either. Yeah, no.
I don't understand that. Like that, I actually don't even understand. Right. So like getting called out of my name and making feel small, or, you know, suppression of love because they're mad. Like that was never a thing. It was just disappointment. Like I just didn't want my parents to be disappointed in me. And that was, I held that at a very, very high regard. I don't know. Maybe it might have been the church background, but that's some unpacking that we'll do.
Calling your kids names is crazy though. Hey, stupid ass nigga. That's crazy. Yeah, that's wild.
It's crazy.
How do you expect him to be anything?
You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what's out of pocket.
That's
all of us know too many people who were raised like that.
Oh my God, that is crazy.
I mean, yeah, my dad's mouth wasn't the cleanest.
Yo, he used to talk crazy to you?
Yeah, he talk crazy. my dad's definitely the dad to beat you down
What?
When you're down.
but he gonna build you up.
Yeah,
he gonna
yeah.
pick you back up. But like, he's definitely beating you down. And so I don't know. I developed like just tough skin.
Your dad seemed like a dad. He literally said, "Are you stupid?" He seemed like one of those dads.
You're dumb.
Are you
You're
dumb?
dumb.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
you dumb. You're not acting like my son.
Oh, man. Yeah, nah, bro. I remember, man, I didn't like laying my dad down. My dad would do things in like very subtle ways. I remember, you know, when you're like in that age where you're like, do I still get whoopings or do I not get whoopings? Like, is that done? Or I was in 9th grade.
What age? I was about to say, everybody remember the age.
I was in
You remember
9th
the
grade,
age where
right?
that belt stopped swinging.
And I was like,
I beat my dad ass because you screw crazy. Don't you touch me.
it sounds crazy.
shit. He sound crazy.
Yeah,
he telling fairy tales over there.
But I remember, I didn't.
But you
I
get
didn't
to a
know.
point where you
You feel like it?
You can play out.
You feel like
he
it.
know that.
Nah.
He know that, bro. You wouldn't touch him.
Yeah.
But he know like, okay, cool. I'm gonna leave him.
I just didn't know if I was still getting whoopings or not, right? And I got an F. I got one F in my entire life, bro. And this is in 9th grade. I was taking geometry. And at that time, I don't know what kids take now, but geometry in 9th grade, you was really doing something.
A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
You know what it is. Come on,
Pythagorean
Pythagorean theorem. So I'm taking geometry in 9th grade. I failed the class, bro. I had this Russian teacher. He was terrible, and it was hard. The
Yep.
class was super hard. And I remember I was like, man, I just gotta get home before that report card get home in the mail. Because you know, this was before you guys could get your report cards online and things like that. It was just getting it in the mail.
Kids today, y'all can't hide nothing
Can't
now.
hide nothing.
Yo, back in the day,
Right.
though, boy, you had an opportunity.
Man, I came home. I seen my dad wasn't home. I'm like, cool. I get in the house and I go to my room. On my pillow, it was a report card with a sad face and it said, I'm disappointed. Oh, I was sick. And I was like, I'm just going to avoid my dad because I don't know if he going to whoop me when he get home. I don't know what that means. You know, when you got home, you're supposed to call your parents.
Yep.
I was like, I'm not calling them.
Not today.
I'm not calling them today. It's a Friday. I'm not calling them today. And it was crazy because and I will say this was the power of my dad's parenting. We never even talked about it, but I knew I was wrong.
And you never did it again.
Never got an F again. Never got an F again. And I will say this. I do appreciate how my dad parented on the latter years of our adolescence, because he was like, yo, I did the hard work on the front end. And now I just kind of like, hey, let me see what they retained and what they learned. But I still feel like there was spaces where there could have been more guidance for me to have more understanding.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think those are those spaces where, you know, I talk to him about and like how to pick that up when it comes to my son. I think it's very important for us to like go back and speak to our parents. And I even ask them, where do you feel like you fell off? Like for Father's Day, they got this book. You can it's a whole bunch of questions in there, and like you just give it to him, fill out. My dad's still filling it out, but I want my child to know who his grandfather's personality was.
Mm-hmm.
Not when he passes, he's just like, oh, that was grandpa. Like I want to know what his personality was. I think it's very important because like I knew my grandfather, but I don't know what his personality was.
Yeah, me either.
Like I knew him.
You know grandpa?
Nah.
Grandma?
One of them. I've only had one grandparent my entire life.
Really?
Yeah.
Your mom's side?
My mom's mom.
Wow, that's great. I was blessed with all four.
My mom's
That's
dad
all
was
four.
murdered. My dad, how about this? My dad's dad died the same day I was born.
Oh, okay. So, and his mom?
His mom died shortly after that.
Okay. And then you grew up with all four of yours.
Knew all four of my grandparents.
Let's see. That's cool.
So we kind of drifted a bit talking about parenting, but what's, as a parent, soon to be parent one day, right? What are some ways that you would help your children rid themselves of lustful acts or lustful thoughts? Or how do you keep your children from even developing is a better question.
I don't think, well, hypothetically, I don't think I would try to keep my child from, developing lustful acts
Or thoughts.
or thoughts. I don't think I would just try to explain to him like, this is what you're gonna feel,
Mm-hmm.
and this is how to conduct yourself the best way I know how. All right, so wear a condom, be smart. If she says no, if she says wait, if she says I don't know, that means no, right? So things like that. That means be cautious of, if she is giving you permission to have sex, right? Things like that. So those would be the conversation, like protect yourself and things like that. But it wouldn't be like control you. It wouldn't be just like don't.
So like those.
Nah, it'd be like, yo, you like trust. There's value. There's value in being able to experience that lust early on.
Mm-hmm.
There's value in that because like if you're my son, chances are you're gonna be desired.
Look back.
If you my son and with my genes, it's a high chance you're gonna be desired, and you're gonna need to have that experience early on so you don't trick it off when you get older.
Yep.
Because if you don't have the experience when you're young and you get older, like it's gonna be tough. You don't want to be the guy who the girls start liking later in life. I mean, you still want to be the guy that girls like later in life.
So you want to be him too.
You want to be.
you definitely want to be him.
You definitely want to be him, but you don't want to be the guy. I should say this: it's gonna be tough being the guy that girls didn't like early on, and then girls started like, you're not gonna know what to do with them.
Yeah.
You think that only come through sex?
Nah.
I mean,
I come through a bunch of different ways.
So like, your son, I mean, because if you say, we'll just take the blueprint that you said. So your son having sex at 12, you're going to tell him go get a condom?
Son can't be having sex at 12.
You can't say that. That's not what he said.
And if my son is having sex at 12, if my son is having sex at 12,
Yes.
yeah, you can't do nothing about it. You gotta go condom. You cannot stop your son from having sex at 12.
So
once he's having sex.
So I understand the sentiment, but I'm gonna tell you right now, as long as my son living under this roof, that's my body.
No, for sure. He gonna
Okay.
be banging chicks outside of your house.
Yeah, nah. That's we not making nothing okay.
No, for sure. I'm saying he's just gonna go around your back to do it though. Just like we
Definitely.
did.
No,
Definitely.
Just like we did.
I understand what we're saying, right? So like, there is a space of communication, just like you saying. He needs to understand these things, right? So like there are also legal ramifications and stipulations. Like we just happen to like be good.
Right. What
But,
I'm saying
like-
so what I'm saying is, once you find out your son is having sex at 12 years old, okay, what are your next steps?
So I'm gonna say this. I also feel like in having these open communications and conversations and being part of your child life, you probably used to be at home by yourself. I was at home by myself a lot. Oh, you was at home by yourself a lot?
All the time.
Okay, cool. So that's not in the forecast for my children.
Okay, so he's not.
So we're gonna
we're gonna
you
put
gotta
it in the air
have,
that
first and foremost,
he's not going to be having sex at
to
12.
have sex, you gotta have space and opportunity.
You got to have space and opportunity.
First of all, so unless he's having sex at class in class,
Okay.
which is the school's problem,
And that ain't happening.
right?
So you're
Unless
saying
that's happening.
the way you're going to prevent it is you're not going to give him an opportunity to have
It's not
sex.
even necessarily prevented. Like education is going to be super important, right? Like, and also to your point though, something that you said, they are going to understand the ramifications of like these things and like what this could look like and what it could be and what you could feel and all of those things, right? But I think in our generation, to be honest, I thought that these kids was actually more wild than us. They're not.
And so do you think
They're not. These kids got way more eyes on them than we do.
right,
It just looks more wild.
right. Do you think that your son is going to have sex on your timeline?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. He's his own human being.
Okay.
That's
he's
not even-
going to have sex probably before you.
That's like I
or after.
like to be
Ain't no telling.
completely
Ain't no
honest.
telling.
Ain't no
To
telling.
be completely honest, like I don't know who he's gonna be in
Yeah.
that space. Like I don't know who he's gonna be.
You don't even know who he gonna be. Period. Like,
Like,
that's still we still working.
I don't know, right? All I can do is make sure that when it comes to, like, I still think it's crazy. Like, you raise your daughter, you see her every single day. When something changes, like I can hear the tone of my son's voice change. Like I don't know if our parents just didn't want to bring it up or not, but when we had sex, it was a switch that was flipped. Why didn't our parents say anything to us?
Right.
Like, why didn't, like, you could tell, like, matter of fact, to your point, my mom used to tell my sister, "Oh, you smelling yourself around here."
So, hey, I was just gonna say, my mom used to say, "Are you feeling yourself?" My mom used to say, "Are you feeling yourself now?" Walking around the house, I walk around with a
Yes.
beater. Are you feeling yourself? That's essentially what she was saying. You smelling yourself? Are you doing
Okay.
something now?
You doing something now.
Are you
That's what
doing
she's
something?
saying.
That's what she's saying.
You doing something
now. Yup.
Right? And I feel like dads, bro,
This,
like, it's almost like they sat in the corner and they watched you and they be like, "Okay, I know what's going on." And that'd be that.
Yeah.
And it's like, you having information about my activity doesn't do nothing for me, bro.
But also too, it's like, think about like maybe their fathers didn't have the conversation with them.
Well, for sure they
I know
didn't.
for a fact.
You know what I mean? And that's just how it kind of just trickles over. It's like, well, I mean, I was parented like this, so I'm a parent like this as well.
Like,
Yeah, to be fair, I think speaking to your child is a very progressive thing.
For sure.
To be fair,
speaking to your child is very
Yeah.
No,
It's a
to be
millennial
fair.
thing for sure.
to be fair, because the way I grew up is just like I grew up in a what I say go
Yeah.
type of household,
Yeah.
and so
Same.
like there was no relationship where it's like we're gonna have an actual conversation about anything. It's just what I say go because I want the best for you.
Yeah.
and you did. So I think it's relatively new. So like we definitely can't blame that.
if you know that your child is having sex with somebody, are you gonna go talk to their parents?
I don't think so. I think I'm gonna try to educate my child.
That's where I stand with it.
That's what I think. I'm gonna try to educate my child first. But if it's like problematic though, if it's a problematic situation where it's just like you know, not coming home, or he's out, and I'm like, who are you with? Then we got to go figure out, you know, where you been at. But just having sex with him, I don't know. I don't think so.
My job is really to parent my child, you know, and teach them about what I think is right from wrong, and the mistakes that they could possibly be making, and what the future will look like if they continue on this path. That's kind of where I feel like I have the power. I don't really feel like I have power in going to speak to Susan's parents, because, you know, my son, you know, or let's use my real situation. I don't feel like I need to go speak to Johnny's parents because Ocean had sex. It's like my responsibility is I should have been better at preparing my daughter for this moment and preventing her from making this happen so early, versus going to tell, because that's essentially what I'm going to go do. I'm going to go tell, because there's nothing else I can do. There's nothing else I'm doing over there.
You're not necessarily telling,
but like, what am I doing over there?
So it's like first and foremost, they're kids.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So like
how old? Like 12?
Let's call it 14. Let's call it 14.
Okay.
Let's call it 14.
Okay, 14.
Let's call it 14. Let's call it 14.
Too young to. I think
14 is still young, though.
I think
Yeah.
It's, to be honest, I think anything under 18 can really affect you mentally in having sex, right? I think it's like smoking weed too young. Mm-hmm. It's like it can really affect you, and like your subconscious is driven off of this act. And I wouldn't say necessarily tell, and I don't know. We'll cross that bridge for me when I get there. I don't know the answer.
You want information though about this person,
but like not even necessarily information about the person. Well, information about the parents and the parenting and the access, and like, is my son coming to your house and he's just hanging out and you guys are just like
allowing it,
like sleep in the room? Like, what is happening? Because I actually experienced that in high school with some friends, and like I remember the mom was like, "Yo, why is this mom letting my son have sleepovers over there?" He's lying, telling her he's going one place, but the mom is cool with him just sleeping in the bed with her daughter. Some people operate differently.
Yeah.
So it's like sometimes you really need to know, like, hey, like what's really going on over there? Like, I don't even know what's going on. How'd you even have access to being 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, and you have access to this type of lifestyle?
Yeah.
Like, that's something that, like, I'm probably going to go talk to the parent, bro.
When was the first time you spent the night with a girl?
Spent the night?
Yeah.
Spent the night.
I had to be in college, bro, to spend the night.
Spend the night.
Yeah, bro. My anxiety, I'm like,
Spent the night.
Outside of sneaking out of the house, like, and going back home, spent the night. Like, I woke up, I got there at night and woke up in the morning. Yeah, that was college, bro. For sure.
For sure.
Not in high school. Spending the night is crazy. I also didn't even have a girlfriend till I got to college. Like, I didn't do girlfriends in high school. Yeah, I didn't do girlfriends in high school. We was moving and shaking. But, like, spending the night. So that's what I'm saying. I seen kids in high school spending the night at girls' houses.
What about spending the day?
I just spend the night.
What about spending the day?
You used to be spending the night.
I spend the night
in high school. Mm-hmm. You had a girlfriend or was it just chicks?
I had a girlfriend in high school. Her mom used to be out. She used to live in Inglewood. I used to go to her house there in Inglewood. She used to come to my house sometimes.
Your mom knew she was at your house?
My mom knew, but she never said nothing. She never acted like she never.
Oh, it was a sneak in, but your mom never went in your room.
Nah, she was trying to fake like she didn't know, but I know she knew.
I mean, I think that's a real tough position as well for a woman to be in with a young man.
First of all, that's crazy because, like, the room that he talking about, you got to walk by his mama room.
Nah. I had my own room downstairs. So once I turned.
But that's not your room upstairs.
Nah. So the first time, my room was downstairs. Everyone else, my room was built, bro. It was an additional add-on in the house. Yeah, dog. So
why was we upstairs in that?
I forget why, but
okay.
I forget why, but yeah, I used to have my own room downstairs. I think me and Glenn used to have share, but once I got to like 9th grade, I just put my own shit downstairs. So then, like, people used to come to the house like through a side gate.
Yep.
Through the side gate.
Come on in.
It was crazy. My mom.
Your mom's upstairs.
Yo, check this out. My mom used to have those little wind chimes. When you open the door, that shit make noise. So I used to be like, closing them shits
Yep.
together. So, dog, it was moving fast. I'm moving fast, dog.
We was having sleepovers.
Nah, for real, bro. I remember.
Everything that I hear though, like everything that I hear is just it's just negligence on parenting. That's like the access that that we were allowed was just like our parents just wasn't paying attention, bro.
Yeah.
Like
That too, and I do want to give our parents the benefit of the doubt too. It's like, our parents are working really hard too.
hard as hell.
Hard to provide, and just like not aware of like the things that we're experiencing. You know what I mean? Just trying so hard to create a better life than that they had. And sometimes like you just get blinded. You just get blinded, bro. You can't do everything. You know what I mean? And when you're trying to create this life for your family that you never
that was
had,
a big switch for them.
they
They didn't have no internet.
They didn't have no internet. They weren't getting access and getting the drop on what the kids were now doing. Nah, they just had to live it. So.
Being home by themselves was really being home by themselves.
Yeah.
They want us to just like, I don't feel like parenting right now. I'm tired. And so I just don't feel like parenting right now. And then what I realized too, just digging back, I think my mom and my dad, because they were divorced, right? My mom probably didn't want too much friction with me.
No.
At certain times, because she's like, I just want you to be,
Yep.
like, you my son. I want you to enjoy it when you here, right? I don't want you to have no type of friction. So
That's
it's
the
like,
thing.
and my dad the same thing. So both of them was just trying to make sure that we was just good where they was
That's
at.
what happens.
Right, and maybe
exactly
part of
what
it was us taking advantage of that too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
Kids adapt more than anything anybody else.
Yeah,
I knew my dad's schedule down to a T.
Boy.
That's why the one time I realized he was paying attention to me, I was like, oh. Bro, I went to go sneak out. My dad was standing in front of my car at 1:30 in the morning. I said, okay. He picking up what I'm putting down. All right, for sure. He said, what you doing out here? I said, I'm just getting my backpack. I got to do some homework.
Yeah. My pops was working so much overtime.
My dad was working a
My
lot.
pops was working so much overtime, dog.
nah.
Bro, my dad was coming home, especially after my parents got divorced. My dad was coming home sleeping.
It's the divorce. That divorce, bro.
Bruh.
Yeah. And then you're an athlete, so it's just like, it's over.
It's over.
It's over. But look, yo, it's time to wrap.
Let's give him something.
Jalon, you got anything?
Talk to your kids. Talk to your kids. Like you said, we can eliminate lustful habits and behavior. I also think that we could prevent a lot of it by simply having conversations about our bodies and what it's capable of. Yeah, that's what I got.
I would just to add to that, you could get rid of any habit, that you don't align with, agree with, or don't see in your near future. But you got to be willing. You have to be willing to make the necessary change, remove yourself from certain environments, distance yourself from certain people. And if you're not willing to do that, you have to understand that shaking that habit is going to become very, very difficult. So any habit that it is, whether it's nutrition, lust, anything, you name it, there are actionable steps that you got to put in place in order to rid yourself of that. And
Okay.
If you don't, just ain't nothing nice.
Speaking of an actionable step,
What you got?
I got a challenge for you. What I want you to do is I want you to go 1 week with tracking every time lust influences a thought, a comment, or a decision. Okay? Awareness first. And with that, much love, much gratitude. I'm Duke.
I'm Omar.
I'm Jalon. This is another episode of Nice and Neat, and that's that on that.
I'll be the one to take the risk to go and get them bands. I'll be the one to never sit and go and make a plan. Knowing my mother getting older now, don't got no time. Gotta keep a couple for the road, the rest get left behind. Yeah. To the hundreds, pledge allegiance, I stand. I'm going pour 4 in the fucking white sand. I give it all to this fucking mic stand. If it's been done before, then I